Do you believe that Christianity is a white man's religion?
Christianity originated from the Middle East, so by definition, it's not a white man's religion, but it has had its part in the oppression of women, the oppression of people, and that goes without saying, the oppression of the black community as well.
I'll bring it over to Sadie and then to you. What's your thoughts about that? Do you feel like it's a white person's religion?
I don't know, because I grew up in an area that was mostly black people, and my school was black people. So my experiences with religion was more that it was a black person's thing, I guess, because that was what I knew from a young age. If anything, I know more people who are black and Christians. I don't know anyone that's white that's a Christian.
I think it speaks to just how like the West has kind of like moved on. Like the UK has become increasingly atheist. Like they don't really believe in like Christianity in the way that they used to before. I think when we think about the word white man, first of all, it's very triggering. So it's like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? Something belongs to the white man, like that's insane. But there's truth to that, because like Tim has said, historically speaking, white men have used it as a means to oppress black people. And not only that, but when missionaries were coming to Africa and Asia, mission work was happening alongside colonialism. So sometimes the events was happening at the same time and it kind of clashed and overlapped at certain points. I do think there has to be an element of responsibility from white people to recognize, yes, no, like we have played a really negative part in the way that we used Christianity to oppress people. There's a famous quote by Frederick Douglass that's saying that there's two kinds of Christianity clearly being operated in this world. There's one that leads to freedom and there's one that leads to oppression. There's two kinds of Christianities going on in the world. So black people, and if you look at, you know, the global south, Christianity is growing a lot more in persecuted places because it speaks to that situation. And I love that because it's literally what Jesus said. He said, I have come for the brokenhearted. I've come for those that literally are outcast. I've come for the widow. I've come for those who are oppressed. That's who the gospel is literally for.
He came like the very missionaries that came.
But I'm a black woman,
so
I know. My context is coming from an African household with a mother who's literally...
No, this is no dig at you, but I think when you're talking about, when it comes to people saying, yes, colonization and missionary work we're taking about hand in hand, and we need to take, essentially, Christianity needs to take responsibility for certain things. I think we're really downplaying what has happened.
I don't think it's downplaying.
No, it is. I do think it is, because
it's downplaying it.
To some extent, what colonization did and what Christianity did was not just to bring Christianity, it was to wipe away the history. You know, I believe, I say black people, but Afro-Caribbean people are a group of people, and I've said this before, that suffer from historical social amnesia. In other words, what I mean is that our history as a people are so rich, we were doing quite well, and Eurocentric ideology is that Africa had no civilization. Africa pretty much had no history, that all we know of Africa was slavery. But there are riches in Africa. There were things and ideologies, there were ways in which we conducted ourselves that, yes, like I say, no, mankind isn't perfect, but we had a way of civilization that we conducted ourselves without Christian theology. And whilst I know you might say, yes, but Ethiopia came to Africa and whatnot, I do believe a majority of the colonization that took place impacted a lot, a wide part of Africa. And I think we do downplay the erasure. It wasn't just a bringing in of Christianity, it was an erasure of our history as well. Many of us still struggle with that today. So, and that's why I think we can relate with Christianity, because as a people, we are searching for something that's spiritual. We are searching for something that is deep and that we so are in touch with. And Jesus seems to be that figure because he was oppressed. But it's not that. We're tussling with ourselves as to where our history lies. You know, we were navigating life by means and by ways which we've now demonized.